What up, what up, what up? Back again. Yes, sir, yes, sir. Everything OG in the house. Devitt the Digger in the house.
B-Dub.
Yes, yes, yes. What's up with the Chicago get up you got on, man?
It's a Chicago.
You got a rep, huh?
Representing the hometown. Mark 'em.
Word up, man. So, yo.
OG.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. So we
Hat
back.
soon come.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. So we back in the game today, and I think we have a special episode for the people out there today. You know what I mean? We gonna do something on your boy.
Yeah, your boy.
we gonna get into that, but you know what I'm saying. But your boy J Dilla, because you know J Dilla is basically
Changed the game.
Well, he definitely is a producer that.
You would disagree? He changed the game.
To an extent, he changed the game.
Not to an extent. He changed it. He showed these motherfuckers you got the chop.
Oh.
If you gonna sample, you got the chop. And if you think you can chop, let me show you what some chopping really
chop,
is.
Though.
He might not be the first to chop, but you have to admit, he did some shit with chops that made a lot of producers go back and re-examine how good their chop game really was or is.
He did some chopping. So
yeah, he did some chopping.
So I mean,
and I have to bear witness because I was a hardcore Primo. Ain't nobody chopping better than Primo fan. And then, going back and forth with Questlove online on okplayer.com, the lesson, and him putting the examples up and really going and listening and hearing the original record, then actually seeing the end results. It's like, I can't front on him, man. Granted, he might not have made as many high energy joints like Primo did with the chops, but when you look at it as a producer from the technical aspect and seeing how he,
I definitely would say, I think even Questlove has said he's probably the most prolific beat maker.
I don't know, Madlib's pretty prolific. At the time they were neck and neck, but I'm talking about the chops. That was Dilla's thing, dissecting the song and making it do what he wanted it to do. A lot of producers can't do that with the samples, and that was what was the magic. And let me also begin by saying I wasn't a big fan of JD. I was more a fan of Dilla, the Dill Withers, And I'm gonna go.
Say JD. We're not talking about Jermaine Dupri.
Yeah, but I'm gonna start it off like this. Billy Paul, Let the Dollar Circulate. That chop that he did for that Spacek ended up using. That was the beginning of my obsession or getting into Dilla and his new style of beat making, because he changed every few years, different techniques and stuff, man. I guess we can start with I'll come back to this, but
no doubt, you know what I'm saying.
JD, he was a disciple of Pete Rock.
I agree with that.
He studied Pete Rock, and he improved upon. Pete was known for chopping, taking the 10 seconds on the SP 1200 and freaking it. A lot of, that was his guy. And so what Dilla would do in his meantime, he would practice dissecting and reverse engineering some of Pete's well-known samples and putting his spin on it. A famous example is the Little Brothers beat by who was that, Talib Kweli and Mos Def used for Little Brother. Yeah. They took the Roy Ayers chop and damn, I should have pulled the record and stuff, man. For $100 he just sold,
So Little Brother, he uses, right?
Yeah, I think it was Ain't Got the Time. And he, Pete did it on the interlude. Yeah. But Dilla went in, and it's very hard to get sections of the song without him talking over.
Right. And chopped it.
So he had 16 pads on an MPC 3000. And unlike the 2000, you had the different banks. You just had them 16 pads, and that was it.
Right.
He masterfully found all the empty sections without the talking and made a beat out of it. And it was just on the beat tape that he never meant to release. And he happened to send some beats and on the flip side was that song, and Talib Kweli and Mos Def heard that, and they rhymed over that.
Right.
Because Dilla, you know, though Pete was his mentor and his inspiration, he didn't want Pete to hear what he did because, you know, Pete Rock was known as being sensitive, you know, to things, and he didn't want to see him get out, you know, be outdone or and all the flack it would cause. So that beat was never supposed to see the light of day, but fortunately it did. And we got to see how great Dilla is on the chops. So that was all to go to say he was masterful with the chops.
He definitely is a legendary producer, and everything OG family out there. Let's get right into it. This is gonna be our top, some of our top favorite Dilla sample flips, and I'm gonna go ahead and get the party rolling. In fact, I'm gonna do something a little different because most of mine is gonna come from this record right here, J Dilla Donuts. And what I liked about this record, Donuts, was that you know, this has said to be basically made on his deathbed. He was in the hospital, and he only thing he wanted in the hospital was his drum machine and a little tiny portable, you know, record player hook up to the drum machine and a stack of 45s, and that's the story.
You know, it's an interesting mythology about this is that a lot of those beats were done before he went into the hospital.
Okay.
Some of the, you know, extra ones he did on his hospital bed. But there was an interesting article, I forgot if it was on medium.com or whatever, but they went through, you know, examining the myth about donuts and stuff. You know, he did do some beats on the hospital bed, but he had the majority of the album done beforehand.
Okay, but he finished it on his hospital bed.
I don't know if he finished it or whatever, but you know, he did some additional production. But
what I liked about this record, and then, you know,
also the original Donuts was only like 20 minutes.
Oh.
They had to go in and edit it to make it longer. I think Jeff Jank did the editing to make make it longer. But
I definitely, what I like about J Dilla Donuts was that it was kind of like almost like a creative hodgepodge. I mean, it wasn't like songs that you would think rappers would want to rap on. You know what I mean? Beats that rappers would want to rap on per se, but I think it was some type of like, because the way he was chopping the samples was like it was something new. Like, to your point, it was something new the way he was doing it on his Dilla Donuts album. And one of my favorite chops that he did on this record was this record right here, The Silvers. And he had a sample one here that he used for a song on J Dilla Donuts called Only Two, right? Or Two Can Win.
Yeah. And this song is on there, is Only One Can Win.
Yeah, and I like the way he chopped that up. And he kind of like took Foster's voice and, you know what I mean, kind of like manipulated a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
Well, if you listen to the original, he chopped it, but he looped it, you know, he blended in.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The way he blended it in was dope.
Yeah, he made a loop out of it and brought the singing in and out, you know.
You know what I mean? And I had
it's masterful.
I had never heard anybody use that sample. Has anybody else used that? Because no one ever used that before. I had never heard that sample before.
Well, you know what's good about Donuts is he took the art of vocal samples to another level.
Exactly.
You know, I read also another article that Questlove was telling a story about the motivation behind him doing all those soul beats and soul samples. Is that when he heard Kanye's chop of Marvin Gaye's "Distant Lover" and he turned it into Spaceships, Dilla's mind was blown. Like everybody had that record and heard that song, and he never once thought to flip it like that. So then he went on a rampage and going through all the old Motown joints and flipping and chopping. And another one, I'll say his batch of Motown joints is from Pocketful of Miracles, and one of my favorite beats. I can just listen to the instrumental over and over again. It's his chop of "You've Got the Love I Need." You might have heard that on Raekwon's 10 Bricks or the Red remix. The way he freaked that sample, man. Like I said, I can put that little 2-minute instrument on and just let it rock out for hours and hours and hours on end.
Excuse me. And he actually used Smokey Robinson a few times.
Oh, actually. Yeah, definitely.
Because this is a Smokey Robinson sample on Donuts.
Yeah.
That's dope, too.
Yeah, definitely.
Carrying on with Donuts for me, I like this sample, too. It's the Jackson 5. And this album's called Moving Violations. But on this album is a song, All I Do Is Think of You.
Yeah. which Troop covered.
Troop did the remake back in the 80s, but I like the way he used that because I never, that's something I never would have thought of. You know, Troop was standing. Yeah. I was like, you know, the way he used that was ill because, like, he had the guitars in there, or I guess there's guitars, and the way, and then he had the way he would have like the chop sample with the voice, like at the end of the loop, kind of. You know what I'm saying?
But what he did was he sped it up and slowed it down. He took time and showed you I can master time, and you hear the beat and you hear it. You heard the original, and then you hear how he chopped it, and then made it feel like it slowed down and speed up. Yeah. Like producers weren't doing that.
That was ill.
He did that quite a few times on Donuts.
That was ill, man. So this is definitely one of my favorite J Dilla chops of all time. Jackson 5, Moving Violation. All I Can Do Is Think of You, and I gotta say, I mean, I know this is two different type of things, but. I mean, Dilla's version to me is just as dope as listening to the Troop song to me. I mean, I know it's two different entities.
What's wrong with the Troop song?
I love the Troop song, but I'm saying I'm with the version. But I'm saying that I can listen to that just like I can listen to the Troop version.
Why haven't you been able to?
Because one is a chopped up hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Don't you like hip hop music?
I know, but I'm trying to separate the two.
Why separate the two? Good music is good music if you enjoy it. There should be no qualifications that just because it's a chop, that means I should like it less than the cover version. You know what I mean? A song is a song. Instrumental, lyrics.
Okay. Case in point.
Don't have no shame. Love it.
Case in point. But I do love it.
Because nowadays you have a whole new market of lo-fi hip hop instrumentals that.
What's your next J Dilla chop favorite?
Another example is Serving Up Some Soul, Mary Wells. What I liked about this is, he took Two Lovers' History, and again, he showed that you could freak a vocal sample and unconventionally and make it into another joint, because this became history by Talib Kweli and Mos Def. And if you hear the original, you're like, okay, this is kind of whatever, but he sped it up, and he just had to keep freaking history over and over and singing, they made a dope song out of it. And it's just like he just did his own thing. You know what I mean? He showed an originality and a willing to go left that most producers weren't able to do. And I love listening to the original. I love listening to the his version as well.
That's dope. For me, next up is going to be this right here, 1010. And he used a little clip on here that My Family Tree, dope. Family Tree by 1010. And this group is a group that actually was discovered by the Bee Gees, and it's produced by Maurice Gibb. And actually the music sounds like the older Bee Gees before pre-disco Bee Gees, so you can totally hear it. But I like the way he chopped this up because like it's a sped up guitar and he had the family tree in the beginning, but vocal sample in the beginning. But I love the guitars that he chopped up in here as the main part of the beat. It was just sick. And actually when I found out that he used that this was the sample, I actually took me a while to find this, but I was on the hunt to find it though. I mean, like you know what I mean? I was like, I gotta find that sample because I love the way he chopped this up, and I was looking for this for at least a good minute before I finally found a copy a few years back, and I'm so happy that I found this for super cheap. It was real cheap when I found it, but yeah, if you out in the record store, you ever see this record 1010, scoop it up. Got a really dope J Dilla donut sample here called Family Tree. Scoop that up, please.
Another joint.
Oh, I know this one.
The Marvelettes, Sophisticated Soul.
Yep.
This joint is off of a J Dilla a beat tape, and it's called "You're the One." The song he sampled is "The One for Me, Bobby," and I love this shit. It's the premise is simple. He takes him saying, "You're the one for me, Bobby. You're the one for me, Bobby. One, yeah." And no matter how many times I've listened to the original. I cannot figure out exactly where did he grab the one chop and the resulting open music from. I don't know if he panned it left and right. Sometimes I hear it, and other times, but that's another example of just mind blowing because he took something, and you, like you said, you really can't hear a rapper rapping over somebody saying "You're the one for me, Bobby." Maybe somebody singing some R&B, or a chick, whatever the case may be, can get the creativity to write something to it. But outside of that, man, just he freaked it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm still trying to figure out the chops on that one. So You're the One for me, Bobby by the Marvelettes, off the Sophisticated Soul.
Dope records, dope Marvelettes album. Moving right along for me, young. I'm still in the donuts tip real quick. Is 10cc, and the one he sampled on his record, the song he sampled on here is called "The Worst Band in the World."
Yeah,
and it's like basically the first song on Donuts.
That was supposed to be a Roots song. He did that for the Roots.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's ill, but the way he
there's a version with Black Thought rhyming over it.
Okay, I mean an original version,
Wow, that he did for the Roots.
That's crazy. But yeah, this is sick the way he chopped this up, and it's tripped out because I remember like when I bought this record way back in the days, my early digging days, and I had always thought about that little break on there.
Yeah.
But not using it, but I always thought it was an interesting little break, and I was like, that's kind of dope. I mean, like maybe I can try flip that later on. Never did it though. But so when he came out with this, I was like, oh shit. You know what I mean? I was like, he used that 10cc, and no one had ever used it that I know.
A lot of the stuff on Donuts haven't been used,
Yeah, I mean, so that's something he totally he did that a lot of cats I think slept on. I mean, I think everybody has this record in it. If you a digger, you got 10cc probably, but I think a lot of cats just slept on this beat. It's like it's cool, but. Like I was.
Well, the beauty of Dilla is that he just didn't stick to a formula. He could take the craziest thing, like Singers Unlimited, and turn it into Player. I said earlier that I wasn't a fan of JD. I should take that back because I love that Slum Village album. I was a big fan of Slum Village. I didn't like a lot of the stuff he did for Outside, with a few exceptions, but. Yeah, that first Slum Village album, masterful.
This is definitely one of my favorite J.J. chops of all time. 10cc, scoop this record up if you don't have it.
I'm gonna get into a joint I have been on a hunt for, the Travel Agency.
Nice.
And the song is called "Make Love." And he flipped this for Black Thought's reality TV off one of those posthumous releases. But just to it was just infectious, and it's not crazy, it's not nothing that he you can't do, but it's just I loved it, and I finally found an affordable copy.
Now I will say this, that I semi beat Dilla to this album because I made a beat off of that record, another sample off that record. You know what I mean? I didn't make that song. I didn't that beat. There's another song I didn't use that. That's real talk. You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
okay.
It's real talk though. This is back in the game. Let's see here. Another Dilla Donuts record is this right here. Is Motown Review. And Motown Review is what it's really called. And he took a Stevie Wonder sample on here. It's like a Motown Live. It's like basically a recording of a Motown Live show. Motown show that somebody recorded live. And for Once in My Life by Stevie Wonder, what he used, and he chopped the shit out of this. It sounds it just sounds just like one big hodgepodge of samples. And
well, I wouldn't say it sounds like a hodgepodge of samples.
I mean, of that sample.
He put it into order. He might have sampled a lot of different chunks, but he put it into order.
That's what I mean. It's a lot of chunks.
Yeah,
there's a lot of chunks.
It's like he just threw some shit against the wall and like, this is it.
Well, when I say hodgepodge, I meant like a bunch of chunks.
Yeah,
I don't mean literally.
More clear because you make it seem like he just. Just chop some shit and it didn't make any sense. Like he made it make sense.
Not that type of hodgepodge. I just meant, just a bunch of chunks.
Vocabulary, nigga.
a bunch of chunks, and he killed it though. And because it's a dope break on here, and he used the break too. But it's dope. So it's dope. Dilla Donuts, Motown review.
Another joint I like is his chop of Neil Innes and Son, "Come On Feel the Noise," which is their Twisted Sister cover. I think he used this on J-Lib. I can't remember exactly what song. But this is an album like of 51-minute songs. And it's the little kid singing, "Come on, feel the noise," and banging on the drum. And he just chopped it up and freaked it and got busy with it, you know.
Dope. That's dope. You know. I don't have that record, so. but for me, I'll say this. This is one of my favorite J Dilla records of all time. Getting off of Donuts now and moving something else. This is Stan Getz. I mean, Jazz Samba Encore featuring Luis Bonfa. And I mean, this is definitely one of my favorite J Dilla beats of all time. He used it for Far Side Running.
Yeah.
And that is one of his best overall produced records to me. And that's a hit. That was a big hit for him and Far Side.
Keep running away.
And it's definitely one of his best pieces of work in his top. It's in the top 5 J Dilla records to me of all time. And this was just the bomb. So scoop this up if you don't have it. Jazz Samba, Stan Getz, and Luis Bonfa. It's a bona fide killer, bossa nova Brazilian type record. It's real ill, but the little clip that he took on here to use for running was dope because I never would have. I mean, it's in the middle of the song, so you might not even have would have heard it if you didn't listen to the whole song. But
that was another good thing about Dilla is that he actually listened to the records. Like a lot of producers, they would just grab the intro or the ending or whatever. He would sit there and listen to the record over and over and formulate the beat in his head and have the beat done in his head. And so all the time, all he needed to do was just take it and find the pieces and put it together. That's still an art I haven't mastered, man. I hear a sample. I got to sit there and manipulate it before I figure it out. I haven't been able to do that in my head like a lot of people claim they can do. It's almost like Jay-Z writing rhymes without the paper, making the beat in your head. That's wow, you know.
What you got next, man?
That's it, you know. Yeah, that's it. I mean, we got The Wall. These are all some joints that Dilla sample for different artists and stuff, and you know. But
I got one last one left. I'll just mention this because like a lot of people that know me, you know what I'm saying, they know that I'm not a super big J Dilla fan. Almost like you said, I wasn't a JD fan. And this is a Circle, and he used a sample off here for a track called Quest. A song called Get a Hoe. It was in the Beats Rhymes of Life album.
Yeah, and the album
that wasn't that good to me.
That broke up Tribe Called Quest.
Yes, and I always blame Dilla for that. One of the reasons was it's a big debate. Underground debate, but I was on that side of the.
I never blamed Dilla for it. I just blamed that Tribe Called Quest didn't keep up with what the trends was at the time.
Well,
or whatever.
That's why.
I usually blame. No, but I'm saying I blamed it more so on Consequence than it was Dilla because you're used to only hearing Tip and Fife. Now they got a third dude rhyming. Like the beats, they sound like Tribe Called Quest beats. You know, a little bit whatever, but it was more so the addition of the extra MC. Like, nigga, you're not Jerobo.
I blame it on Dilla. I thought the beats on that album just were not up to snuff for Tribe. This was the one I liked, but if you know, I just didn't think that it was a good fit. Even though I understand he is a product, and he was sampling stuff that they normally would sample in terms of the genre, but this was the one that that did get through for me. So if you don't have this record called The Circle, scoop it up. I had to borrow this dude's copy today, but because I couldn't find mine. But it's all good. So in closing, you know what I'm saying? I respect Dilla. You know what I'm saying? I think he's definitely a visionary, and I think he's a dope producer. I don't think my whole thing about it, like I said, was the Tribe thing / like I didn't think he.
You hold on to grudges too much, man. Let that shit go.
but he's ill though. And
beautiful. I guess. Do you hate Common because Electric Circus?
Him and Dilla.
No,
They both come together.
Do you hold that against them?
That was a terrible album. But
you gotta. The beauty about music is it's subjective, man.
It's very
And
subjective.
it's experiment. You can't just do the same thing over and over because that gets boring. That's why they made an album. So if you want to listen to the same thing over and over, you can revisit the album. And we moving on to this, and maybe that's gonna reach a new audience, or it might not. But you gotta experiment. That's what's wrong nowadays with music because they keep saying everybody's just doing the same thing the next person is doing. There's no experimentation. But then when people experiment, we bellyache and say, they went too left and too right. So damned if you do, damned if you
fickle
don't.
fans.
You know what I mean? Like, just imagine if Nas kept making Illmatic over and over again. You'd be like, God damn, this shit again.
That'd be amazing.
You would get bored. You'd be like, damn, Primo again? Like, I want to hear Nas rap over somebody different. How many times is he going to rap over Pete Rock? How many times is he going to rhyme over Large Professor? You got to give him space to grow. You know what I mean? You got to let him, or else you could just keep playing The World Is Yours over and over again. Or you keep playing Halftime over and over again. Or Memory Lane. Those are all good songs, but where's the growth? Where's the experimentation? Where's the next level if you don't let them try something different, And
Point well taken. Definitely. Well, it's been a fun ride today. Respecting rest in peace to J Dilla. My name is Dewitt the Digger. Mr. Everything OG.
B-Dub.
Yes, sir. Peace. Whoa, what's going on? What's going on?
Yeah, that was it. I had it at an angle. I had everything. Action.
What up? Back again. Yes, sir. Everything OG in the house. D-Root the Digger in the house. And we already did a one on DJ Premiere. Hope y'all caught that. So,
don't put that on the air yet. I don't know which one to put first. But yeah, I don't know which one's gonna air first, so you can't say they caught
that. But yeah, so it's only right we gotta do one on DJ. Excuse me. It's only right that we gotta do an episode on J Dilla.
That brother, is it Thundercat? Is that his? Maybe not Thundercat, but what's that one? He's in LA Underground. Maybe it ain't Thundercat, but he had that one album that came out, and everybody was loving it and stuff. He's on the LA beat scene.
What did he do?
He just, he took lo-fi instrumentals and just making instrumentals and making that popular in the LA beat scene, like making his own little subgenre. I can't remember his name. Is Thundercat or it might be Thundercat. I don't know, but if you know what I'm talking about, put it in the comments.
That's what I'm saying. Sure,
I can't think
there's
of
somebody
right
leave a comment, let us know.
And he had the big critical acclaim, like in maybe 2007, 2008, 2009, where it was like, yeah, this brother's doing his thing.
I agree with you.
He only did maybe 2 beats though. That's the thing.
He did like
no, if you check the credits, he only did 2 beats that are credited to him. The rest, they had that Uma on, but that's still tip.
That's still Dilla though. They said
that's tip. Because Dilla got his credit. You know what I'm saying? But
I heard different. I heard that was the whole thing because everything's produced by the Uma.
That was a separate project. He wanted his name known outside of that, which But the Uma was the whole umbrella. But for that Tribe album, that was still tip. But except for the 2 that JD did.
I'll go back and look, but I heard he did like 5 joints on that album. But regardless, I mean,